Hey sports fans, this is Straight from the Basement with Ommy. I'm a 57-year-old sports fan who always said, since I never played sports professionally, then let's talk about it. I am born and raised in New York City. I played organized basketball for several well-known teams in the mid-'70s and early '80s, such as the legendary home called Rucker Tournament, Millbank, Stone Gym and Riverside Church, LaGuardia House, and my all-time favorite, Each One Teach One. Having sports in my life at an early age always kept me out of trouble. If I wasn't playing basketball, I was either playing football or baseball. Hey sports fans, this is Straight from the Basement with Ommy, where my opinions, views, and facts will cover the hottest, the latest, and the past sports events. Welcome once again. I appreciate you guys so much for liking and subscribing to my podcast. Listen, I'm going to be honest. This little journey that I have started, I really didn't think it was going to get to this point. But now it's just, we going to roll with it now. It's going to be nonstop. It's in my blood now. It's in my blood. So before I start the day's topic, I always want to read at least one response. And I'm only going to read one response for this topic for my last basement show, okay? Because I got a heavy show today, and I got to get one response in. So last topic, basement show was improvements in the WNBA league. Improvements in the WNBA league. I had one question for that show, and the question went like this. What other improvements in the WNBA is needed? I got one response that I want to read, and this is from a Derek from Manhattan, and he says, "Great show, Ommy. My biggest improvement is two things. Number one, why can't they play on TNT primetime? Doubleheaders like the men." So true, Derek. I can't remember any of the games on WNBA games on primetime ABC 8:30 on a Saturday night where the whole country's watching. I don't remember that. Number two, he says, there's no real meet and greet with the women players like the men. My granddaughter loves basketball, and she wants to meet Diana Taurasi, who is her favorite player. I hear you, D. And like I said in the last show, I'm hoping for improvements. It's 26 years in the WNBA, and it should have been more invested, and it has not. 12 teams in 26 years. When you got the NBA with 32 teams, come on. I'm not even going to get into the last show's topic because I want to move on. Before I move on to the day's topic, I got to recognize the grandfather, the matriarch, Mr. Bill Russell passed today. Today, July 31st, he passed, 88 years old. I got to do a show strictly just on him at some point. But I want to, for this show right now, not say nothing for 10 seconds. 10 seconds of silence. Mr. Bill Russell, I wish and hope you rest in peace. You would definitely be missed, and not just in NBA world, in sports world in general. I'm quite sure there's going to be so much these next 2 weeks regarding sports outlets with Bill Russell. Listen, I can go on, and I don't want to detour from my topic of the show today. So I'm going to move on. Today's topic is the top 10 NBA players of the 2000s. Now, I'm going to start a series and it's going to start today. And the series is going to start, and it's going to be the top 10 athletes in their prospective sports. These series will start from 2000 to 2009, which I'm about to start today, and then 2010 to 2019. And it's going to be basketball, football, baseball, just to name a few. But we're going to start these series starting today. Every decade in sports, people, you got records being broken, titles being won, and top 10 lists changes. Every decade, the top 10 list changes. Now, as NBA fans, we saw salaries per year eclipsed from 19 million to 28 million from 2000 to 2009. And that 10-year period, salaries eclipsed from 19 million to 28 million. I want y'all to think about that. That changed the game globally in so many ways. As NBA fans, we saw the following superstars change the game. And there's more, but I'm only going to name 10. But before I name the 10, I got a panel of Generation X for this topic, for this Zoom that I've been dying to do. Because everything I've been doing to this point has been with the old school heads. So I got the Generation X ready, locked and loaded. And number one, I want to introduce my panel, my guests. And number one, I got Sarita from West Orange, New Jersey. Number two, I got Corey from the Boogie Down Bronx, New York. Number three, Little T from Monroe, New York. And four, Little Tom from Houston, Texas. What's up, people? How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Hi.
Talk to me. Come on. Talk to me. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right. Listen, I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me virtually in my basement. And we're going to have some fun with this because, listen, the 2000, the 2009, the list that we're about to go down, and as everyone else hear this list, we're going to take them back. So, before I even get into that, there are several lists circulating regarding this topic. And I'm not going to name none of the sports outlets because that's not what I do, okay? But I want to talk to y'all and get your perspectives on this top 10 NBA players of 2000 to 2009 from one of the outlets. And the list counts down as follows. Number 10 on the list is Jason Kidd, the floor general. I call him the floor general, okay? 2 finals appearances, led the league 4 times in assists per game during that period. Kidd was arguably the best point guard for that decade, okay? Now, I may get some when I may get some backlash on that, but listen, this is the way I saw it. And that's the way I saw it. Number 9 on the list. Oh man, considered the most skilled offensive big man in the history of the game. Dirk Nowitzki. Big Dirk. 1 finals appearance and 1 MVP in that decade. I got to get it right. Number 8 on the list. Listen, everybody know because I didn't never hold my tongue starting these podcasts. I'm a Laker fan. 1977 for those who just learning about me. Okay? And I don't get into how I became a Laker fan. I'm a Laker fan since 1977, 13 years old. But outside of being a Laker fan all these years, my favorite player outside of the Laker dynasties is number 8, AI, Allen Iverson. Now, I got an Allen Iverson jersey, 2001 All-Star jersey, but no one would ever see me wear it. Okay? But the man, please, one of my all-time favorite players, one MVP, one finals appearance in that decade, led the league 3 times in points per game, a top player in the post-Jordan era. Moving on to number 7, because we doing this countdown, people. He was like an energized bunny. That's what I called him. I mean, Steve Nash. The guy never stopped running. He was like an energized bunny. He led the league in assists per game 3 times, 2 times, and a true shooting percentage. I didn't even know they had a true shooting percentage until I really looked this dude up. Steve Nash. No joke. Moving on to number 6 on the countdown. The Flash. Y'all know who he is. Dwayne Wade. The Flash. 1 finals MVP with 1 chip in that decade. Finished the decade leading the league in points per game. Bad man. Ownership now. He got ownership now. Utah Jazz. My man doing it. Number 5 on the list. The big ticket. Yes, it's the big ticket. He had a few other names, but we calling him the big ticket for this show. Kevin Garnett. 1 MVP and 1 chip and 1 Defensive Player of the Year award. All in that decade. He was a beast with high-octane boosters. That's what I call him because my man never took a break while he was on that court. Number 4 on the list. If you can see the background, the king. Some got problems with that, but we going with LeBron James. Number 4 on the list. 1 MVP and 1 finals appearance. The only player other than Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson to put 30 points, 8 boards, and 7 assists in a season during that decade. Think about that. Number 3 on the list. You could call him all kinds of names. He got all kinds of names, but we're going to call him by his original, Superman. The original Superman in NBA, Shaquille O'Neal. 1 MVP, 3 finals MVP, 4 chips, 5 finals appearance, all in that decade. The big Aristotle was the most dominant big man since Wilt Chamberlain. Man, he changed the game. Number 2 on the list, counting down, the big fundamental, Mr. Tim Duncan. 3 chips, 2 MVPs, 3 finals appearances, 2 final MVPs. Duncan was an NBA All-Defensive all 10 years in that decade. He had the decade on lock. Couldn't do nothing or say nothing. Number 1 on the list from this outlet, and may he continue to rest in peace, the Mamba, Mr. Kobe Bryant. My favorite Laker behind Magic Johnson. I won't say no more because I'll go left on y'all. 4 chips, 6 finals appearance, 1 MVP, 1 finals MVP. He made an appearance in the finals 6 times out of the 10 years in that decade. So, for my guests, I got 4 questions for y'all. And listen, y'all got to give me the meat and potatoes, people. I'm going to ask the questions, same questions to all 4 of y'all. And we're going to start with Sarita from West Orange, New Jersey. Number 1, do you agree or disagree with the order this top 10 is in? Sarita, please explain.
I disagree with the order. I do not like this list. I've got a criteria for my top 10 list. And my criteria is rings, first and foremost. Gotta have the jewelry. I'm considering seasons played in this 10-year span for the 2000s.
Okay.
NBA MVPs, your influence, and scoring titles, because I like basketball players that can get a bucket. So with that criteria, I do not like this list. My list is a little bit different.
Listen. Everyone who's listening, listen, I got the right Generation X for y'all. We got more of that. Thank you so much for that, Sarita. Same question, Corey. Same question. Do you agree or disagree with the order what this top 10 is in? Please explain, Corey. Please unmute.
I would have to agree for the most part. There's a few people I could take out.
Okay.
Steve Nash got to go.
Okay.
I feel like Kevin Garnett could go, and we could replace him with Ben Wallace.
Ooh, I ain't see that coming. Whoa. All right. Anything else, Corey, from the boogie down? That's it for that? Okay. I didn't see that. That came from left field. Ben Wallace. Oh, yeah, he was a beast on the defense, block shots. Little T, same question. Do you agree or disagree with the order this top 10 is in? Please explain.
I don't completely disagree with the order the top 10 is in, but I agree with the other 2. A few people up that list can go, but it's not a terrible list, but a few people can go.
Few people can go, but it's not a terrible list.
Not a terrible list.
All right. Again, y'all, this is not my list. I can't name the outlet, but it's not my list. Thomas, Little Tom, same question from Houston, Texas. Do you agree or disagree with this order of top 10?
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay, yeah. I don't agree with the order of this list. I think there's no way that you place Allen Iverson, closer to the 10 mark when you got people like, Steve Nash at number 7, before him. I don't agree with this list. I also don't agree that Tim Duncan or Shaquille O'Neal should be before LeBron James. And so I would out of this whole list, I would put LeBron James, I would put Kobe at 1, LeBron at the 2, and D Wade at the 3. And then everything else kind of and I think one of your questions is who would we put in there, one of your next questions. So I'm going to just pause it there.
All right. Listen, I got a lot of meat and potatoes for this.
This is for the 2000s to the 2009.
2000 to 2009 only. We're not talking about their entire career. We only talking from 2000 to 2009.
LeBron really wasn't doing much. He was an exciting player. But compared to what Kobe, Tim, Shaq, compared to what those 3 did in the 2000s.
I agree for that, Tom. I agree 100% for that, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Corey, because these series, like I said earlier, they're gonna talk about decades only. What those players that's on that top 10 list in all sports, what they did in that decade. We're not talking about their entire career. What they did in that decade is what we're talking about right now. So thank you for that, Corey. Moving on to number 2. Question number 2. I'm back at you, Sarita. Who would you move and replace that spot with? And where are you moving that superstar? You said earlier in the first question that the list, you just totally disagree with it all. So talk to me.
The one thing I do agree with is Kobe at 1.
Okay.
I like Kobe at 1. He plays 10 full seasons in the 2000s. Career-wise, he's got 5 rings, 2 scoring titles. I'm going with Kobe. I like Tim Duncan, but I'm going with LeBron ahead of Tim Duncan because LeBron comes in the early 2000s. He's a force the moment he steps on the court. Okay. I don't think you can take that away from LeBron. So I'm going LeBron number 2. I like Tim Duncan. I like Tim number 3. I mean, he had a legacy. He had a dominance in the 2000s. You know, Spurs were on everyone's radar for the 2000s. 5 career championships. So I'm going with Tim at number 3. Then I'm going with Shaq at number 4. Again, we all know Shaq was busy in the 2000s. I think he's probably one of the most dominant big men. So I think he's got to stay high on that list. I mean, Shaq has 4 rings for his career. I'm going with Dirk at number 5. I'm going with Dirk at number 5. I think Dirk was way too low on this list. I think we got to put some respect on Dirk's name. Dirk is number 6 on the all-time scoring list. When you're number 6 on the all-time scoring list, you can't slip down to number 9. Okay. So I'm going with Dirk at number 5. I'm going with D Wade at 6. I like Kevin Garnett at 7. I got Jason Kidd at 8. And then Allen Iverson, he's low. I got him at 9 just because I think you got to win. You got to win rings. AI doesn't have any rings, so AI sits low for me. And then Steve Nash, again, 0 rings. He's at the bottom there.
Okay. Sarita, thank you, Sarita. Thank you for that breakdown. Listen, you got all kinds of sports fans. Everyone has their opinion, right? I've been saying that in these podcasts. I've been saying that since I've been younger. Everyone, some rings is important. For some, rings ain't important, okay? But we're going to stick and stay with the 2000 to 2009. Stick and stay with the 2000 to 2009. Corey, same question. Who would you move and replace that spot with? And where are you moving that superstar, Corey?
So Kobe could stay. Tim Duncan could stay.
Okay.
Shaq could stay. LeBron in 2000.
Yeah, I know. Listen.
LeBron, I would move LeBron down to 5.
Okay.
Replace Kevin Garnett with Ben Wallace and have Ben Wallace be number 4. I would keep D Wade at 6. I'm placing Allen Iverson at 7.
Okay.
I'm replacing Steve Nash with Chris Paul at 8.
In the 2000-2009, huh?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Dirk Nowitzki, he was a great player. He was a great player.
Yeah, so he was a great player. No doubt about that. We sticking and staying to 2000 to 2009. I know it's hard. Listen, I know it's hard. Any more, Corey? Are we good? You good?
Dirk Nowitzki could stay. Jason Kidd. I think Ray Allen deserves to be on this list. So I replace Jason.
He got game. He got game. He got game on the list.
I'll actually put Ray at number 9.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Lil T, same question. Who would you move and replace that spot with? And where are you moving that superstar? Please explain.
So this is tough, right? Because Sarita, I want to make sure I'm saying her name right. She made a good point about LeBron, but then if we're talking about winning, LeBron wasn't winning that much from 2000 to 2009. That wasn't, he was an impactful player, but he wasn't winning on that level. For me, Steve Nash gotta go. Steve Nash gotta go. And that's no disrespect to Steve Nash. He stole an MVP from Shaq. Shaq should have won the MVP. He stole one. He's a good player, great pick and roll player. But for me, it gotta be Paul Pierce or Tracy McGrady. Paul Pierce and Tracy McGrady were two of the greatest scorers of the 2000s. Growing up playing NBA Live, Tracy McGrady will get you a bucket. 13 points in 30 seconds. I would replace Jason Kidd and Steve Nash with Paul Pierce and Tracy McGrady. It hurts to take J Kidd off that list, but T-Mac and Paul Pierce were different breeds. And Paul Pierce got a ring in that period too, 2008.
Yeah, so you got the truth coming in with T-Mac.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree with T. Right. I think that's why I was kind of stuck on Dirk Nowitzki.
Right.
He was great in the 2000s, but Tracy McGrady and Paul Pierce, like.
Yeah. I know. It's
1 and 2 behind Kobe. They 1 and 2 behind Kobe during that era.
I'm replacing Dirk Nowitzki with Tracy.
Oh, okay. Corey came back with another replacement. Little Tom, same question. Who would you move and replace that spot with? And where are you moving that superstar? Please explain.
Yeah, I gotta say I came into this conversation hoping I wasn't gonna be the only person, because some people may feel different due to injury, right? But when you're talking about the 2000s to the 2009, and I'm a fan that doesn't really implement whether a person got rings or not, whether he was winning a lot. If he got in between them lines and he showed that he was the best on the court, that's what I'm going off of. Okay. And if you're looking at it like that, Tracy McGrady for sure is supposed to be on this list. He is, in my opinion, the only thing that came close, if not better, than Kobe Bryant in the 2000s. Okay, he got injured and his career took a turn, but he played a solid 7 seasons out of that 10. And in them seasons, he gave us anywhere from 25 points per game to 32 points per game. And he did magnificent things that we were only kind of seeing from players like Kobe. He looked different than Paul Pierce on the court. He looked different than Ray Allen. He looked different than all of these players on here. He looked different. When the vein was popping out his arm at the free throw line, you knew it was a different time. And so with that being said, I think that everybody on this list is cool. But if I got to think about Tracy McGrady, I got to take out Jason Kidd. Okay. The reason why I got to take out Jason Kidd and not Steve Nash is because Steve Nash throughout his career had a better jump shot than Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd didn't establish a solid jump shot until the end of his career.
So true.
Okay.
So true.
Okay. So with that being said, Tracy McGrady has got to be on that list. And where would I put him? I would take out Jason Kidd, put T-Mac at the 10, and then switch T-Mac from the 10 to number 5 with Kevin Garnett.
Well, listen, thank you for that. That was a mouthful from each and every one of y'all with question 2, and I'm only half finished. Question number 3. Do you believe that another superstar outside of the top 10 order should be in this top 10? Please state who and why. So, Sarit, I'm going to go back to you, but I think for most of y'all, what y'all been saying, y'all already started on 3. But I'm going to go back to y'all anyway with 3. Who are you taking? If what you just told me remains the same, then it remains the same. We move on.
If I had to take someone out of the 10 players on this list, I'm taking out Jason Kidd, who I have 8 on my list, and I'm replacing him with Tracy McGrady.
Okay.
And I'm taking out Steve Nash at 10, and I'm replacing him with Ray Allen.
We got He Got Game and we got T-Mac coming in that list. Thank you so much, Sarita. Same question, Corey. You basically almost answered it, but you can repeat it or say what you're gonna say to question 3.
I can't remember what I said the list before, but Ben Wallace,
Wallace,
and Tracy McGrady.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Corey. And Lil T.
Steve Nash and Steve Nash has to go. Jason Kidd has to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So seem like few of y'all with the Steve Nash and the Jason Kidd got to go. Lil T, what about you? Question number 3.
He's from Kobe. So
For me, for sure, it has to be T-Mac. Got to be on that list. T-Mac was. I grew up idolizing T-Mac. Before LeBron, anybody that know me know LeBron, my favorite player. LeBron, Kobe, and T-Mac, my 3 favorite players.
Okay.
All time. T-Mac was Kevin Durant before Kevin Durant. 6'8",
Yes.
couldn't miss a jump shot. Had the athletic ability of LeBron James. Could pass. He was a flawless player. He just unfortunately never got the right situation. But Paul Pierce, though, I feel bad a lot. More people aren't rooting for Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce got a ring within that decade. And he carried that Celtics team before anybody even came. He did that while getting he got stabbed his rookie year, almost died. Came back giving people buckets and got a ring in 2008. Paul Pierce, he got to be on that list somewhere. Got to be.
Yeah.
Thank you. Same question, Lil Tom. Same question. Who? I think you already said who you taking out. Who you bringing in?
Yeah, I'm bringing in Tracy McGrady, and and I would leave it at that. I feel Lil T on the Paul Pierce, but at the same time, man, I would rather have these people on this list before Paul Pierce, man. When the real GOATs came around on this list, Paul Pierce won't always Paul Pierce, and that's all I'm gonna say.
That's a fact.
Okay, yeah, that's a mouthful there. So, my last question for y'all. This question is not related to this topic. Between Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, which player should be in the same sentence as Michael Jordan? Between Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, which player should be in the same sentence as Michael Jordan? So, Rita, I'm going to start with you.
I hated this question when I read it.
I know you did.
That's why I had to get this one, because I know I was coming with the Generation X. I said, listen, I gotta hit him hard with one of these questions.
I didn't like this question. You know how I feel about Uncle Kobe. I'm gonna have to go with LeBron James, though. I think LeBron's got to remain in the conversation with Jordan only because of the generational talents. I looked at it 2 different ways: the impact on the league, the way they changed the league, or the one who's modeled and skilled his game after Jordan. When you're talking about the skill sets, I like Kobe. But when you're talking about the overall impact of the NBA, I like LeBron. I think there's very few people who can sit at that table in terms of changing the course or the face of the NBA. And I think LeBron is that guy.
Well, listen, Sarita, listen, that's going to be a topic for another day, because I already know what I'm going to get from the other 3. So, Corey, same question. Who's in the sentence with Michael Jordan, Kobe or LeBron?
I'm going with Kobe, man.
Talk to me.
I don't even know. Like, it's just Kobe.
It's just Kobe.
Nobody yells out LeBron when they're shooting paper in a garbage can. Like, the way LeBron transcended the game as well, but Kobe shooting from the three-pointer, Kobe taking terrible shots and being relentless, that was instilled in generations after him. Like, instilled in Steph Curry to shoot the ball the way he does. I don't think he was doing that that confidently at Davidson. So, you know, like
True.
I feel like they both changed the game. Kobe changed the lifestyle of the game, whereas LeBron changed the physicality of it, which is cool. But Kobe and Jordan, that lifestyle of playing basketball was different.
So you got Kobe. So Sarita got LeBron, and Corey got Kobe in the same sentence as Michael Jordan. Thank y'all. Little T, same question. Who you got? The King or the Mamba hanging out with Michael Jordan?
You know this one. You know you messed me up with this one, man.
I know I did.
You know, me and you talk. We talk all the time. You know how I feel about LeBron, man. See, it's tough. She's right in the sense of LeBron is really a generational talent. LeBron is he was Steph Curry before Steph Curry, where he literally changed the game. He had to make it so that you had older OGs like Paul Pierce, well, not Paul Pierce, but KG and Ray Allen have to link up with Paul Pierce. We got to stop this young kid coming up. Like he did that in 2007, 2008. Like he was scary. But then Kobe, come on, man. That dude is the greatest winner ever. I put him above Mike.
Ooh.
We're going to talk top two. My top two, Kobe and Bron. That's just how I feel.
Top two all time, Kobe and Bron.
For this question,
that's hot. That's a hot take.
That's a hot take. The only reason it's a hot take, but I'm going to stand on that hill. I'll die on that hill. LeBron's skill set is something we've never seen before. Not Michael Jordan, not Kobe. He can play the 1 through 5. He could guard the 1 through 5. In his prime, he's unstoppable. He's unstoppable. There's nothing you can do with that man. But for this question, it breaks my heart. Hate to say it, but I'm going with Kobe. Gotta put Kobe.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much, all three of y'all. Last one, Little Tom. Who's in the same sentence? Is it the King or the Mamba hanging out with Michael Jordan?
You know, I wasn't sure how to interpret this question. You know what I'm saying? Because you're saying, you know, the same sentence as Jordan. And when I hear that, I automatically feel like, well, who's more like Jordan or on the level of Jordan, maybe? I don't know. And when I look at it like that, it's like, this dude, Kobe, was exactly what Jordan was. You see what I'm saying? And Jordan was the best of his time. You see, and Kobe came and emulated every single thing on down to the tongue. You see, and at the end of it all, in my opinion, and by the stats and everything, Kobe was a better shooter. You know, so it was just mentioned that Kobe's the best all time. I definitely agree with that, and that ain't the question. But I gotta say that. And furthermore, you know, I believe that it is unfair to LeBron to say his name in the conversation of Jordan and Kobe because he's not the same. You see what I'm saying? Jordan and Kobe, they are very much like the same. And if he was the same as them, LeBron, he would have more rings. So who's in the same sentence as Jordan, Kobe or LeBron? I gotta say Kobe all around. Kobe is definitely in the same sentence. And the last thing I'll say is I don't really know what. I mean, I know Kobe put the ball in the basket, you know, with that being his focus, but I don't really know from footwork to post game to passing to whatever that this guy LeBron could do better than Kobe. And that's just personally how I feel.
Well, listen, all four of y'all said a mouthful, and I'm quite sure when this is aired, oh my God, the feedback gonna be something else. Now, I gotta give y'all my opinion, and I'm gonna give you my opinion on the last question. Question number 4, what we just finished discussing, okay? Question number 4, this is my opinion. My opinion only. The Mamba, may he rest in peace. no doubt, is in the same sentence as Michael Jordan. And this is why. They both, just like you said, Lil Tom, they both had the same mentality. Right? Okay? Kobe, Michael Jordan was Kobe's idol. Even though he was his idol, but the mind frame was the same. So you can have an idol, but have a different mind frame. The mind frame was the same all around. But here's the difference. Michael Jordan, he came into the league. He didn't have a good outside shot, and his ball handling skills was horrible. I'm taking y'all back now. Kobe Bryant came into the league. He came into the league with the full package. I'm pausing, I'm slowing it down because I need people to listen and think about it. And if you forgot, then you go on and you look it up. Okay? Now, Jordan with 6 chips. Kobe with 5 chips. So if you're a chip person, then you would say, yeah, it's Michael, the GOAT. Like Sarita said, it ain't all about the chips. But here's the difference. If Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm saying his whole name, I ain't saying Shaq. If Shaquille O'Neal, if he took his off seasons very serious, like Kobe took his off seasons, I'm slowing it down because I need y'all to marinate on this. If Shaquille O'Neal took his off seasons very serious, just like the way Kobe did, then Kobe Bryant will be considered the GOAT because Kobe would have had at least 7 rings. Because there's no way in hell if Shaq is neck and neck off season doing what Kobe was doing, you know how anal who he was in his off seasons. If both of them together was anal in their off seasons and coming into a season, man, please, you talking 7 to 8 chips. Now Kobe is considered the GOAT. That's just my opinion. I want to thank, listen, any comments on that? If not, I'm going to move on.
That's why I had Ben Wallace in my top 10 because he played a huge hand in those 2 rings that the Lakers should have won against the Pistons. Like, he was a dominant force in the paint. And the defense played on Shaq was crazy. Like, Shaq wasn't no one side of the court player. He was dominant on both sides of the court. So for a player like Ben Wallace, who's not a bum, but for Ben Wallace to do that 2 seasons back to back is kind of crazy.
Yeah, back to back. You're right about that with those Pistons. Excuse me. So listen, I want to thank my guests, Sarita, Corey, Little T, Little Tom, for hanging out with me virtually in my basement. I want to thank y'all. Continue to please like and subscribe. Hit the bell. I appreciate it so much. Thank y'all, each and every one of y'all. As I always say, sports is what keeps this world from going insane, either in a pandemic or no pandemic. Until next time, take care.